Matt speaking.
Hi, Matt. This is Derek Reimer calling. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I was just wondering where things were at.
Where things are at, Derek, is there are 2 warrants to arrest active right now, so
Okay.
that's up to you if you want to turn yourself in or not.
Okay.
Angelica Toy reporting for Rebel News in Calgary, Alberta. Today I am bringing you the story of Pastor Derek Reimer of Mission 7 Ministries. You may already know that name from our pandemic coverage. Reimer was client number 2 of the Democracy Fund's enormously successful Fight the Fines initiative when he came under fire in Calgary for feeding the homeless, something the city called an illegal public gathering. Derek isn't somebody who stands by when he sees something that he thinks is wrong. He's been protesting all ages drag shows and was recently forcibly removed by participants at a Calgary City Library at a drag queen story hour event. And then police showed up at his home and charged him. And if the mayor, Joy T. Gondek, gets her way, also will be issued a fine under Calgary's unconstitutional anti-harassment bylaw for protesting against the drag queens. You can learn more about our plan to fight back for free speech in Calgary and get involved at fightcensorshipfines.com. The mainstream media and the mayor are saying that Derek espouses hate and intolerance. I'm meeting with Derek right now to get the other side of the story. A video went viral of you being physically thrown out of a Seton Public Library after you came to protest drag queens reading to children. What's your motivation and what's your reason to protest drag-related events with children?
So myself and my team, we feel called and compelled to come against this perversion in our city. This is sweeping the globe, that we're tired of it. We're tired of this grooming, pervert, story time hours, and reading to kids and children. Like, why the obsession with indoctrinating the kids and reaching them with their perverted agendas? So we plan to come to Seton Library along with other protests that we discussed and planned. We wanted to expose the evil and the darkness, and we wanted to also invite people into the gospel of Jesus Christ. And when one person went in to disrupt it, when they got removed, then the next person went in to disrupt it, and then I went last, and I just kept going, as you can see in the video, until cops came there and they wanted to issue me a trespass offense, and at that point then I just peacefully left. But on my way out, I just wanted to announce to everybody of the perversion and what's taking place and what's going on right there in their library, and how it's disgusting and how it's evil and how it's wrong. And when I went out into the complex, I stood on the chairs and I just started announcing it to everybody, because we got to shout it from the rooftops. We got to make people aware of what is taking place here, and we got to stand against it, and now is the time to do it.
Voice memo. Okay, we don't have our voice cameras active.
We are now calling the police. We have the police coming, so it is your choice to leave or deal with the police.
Very abusive in there.
We are going
For
to...
love is love.
Hey,
Love is
guys.
like very hateful, very abusive.
Why are you disrupting the program?
Because it's wicked.
Can you give us a rundown at what happened at this protest, what led up to them kicking you out and assaulting you, and what happened afterwards?
Yeah, when I went into the little glass room, then I actually watched for a little bit, and they finished up with a little dance saying that we like this, and I said, you know what, I like Jesus, and I went to the front where the drag queen performers, perverts, were, instructing and leading the kids, and I just started to continue to preach about Jesus and to say, don't believe these guys. And some parents got irate, they got upset, they came at me physically, and in the video you can see about 3 men had physically removed me and dragged me out of that room while I'm clutching at anything I can to stabilize myself, and then eventually just threw me out of the door, as you can see. And if you watch even close, then my face bangs off the glass before I go onto my back, and then of course after that you can see what transpires.
Did they issue you any tickets at this event on location?
No, they didn't. Cops just came and they knew me by name and said, like, hey Derek, how's it going? And just, you got to get out of here. And I did. And after that, there was no trouble. We continued our church service as we always do at these protests. We have somebody singing and we're preaching the gospel out there and exposing the sin of this, but always inviting them into a relationship with Jesus Christ, as we are all Christians. And this is the point of the movement and the organization.
Or you just send out the warrants.
I can send out the warrants. I can do a warrant to come into your home and take you out. or we can just go peacefully to this station. You get your release documents, you back home.
Get my what documents?
Your release documents.
Release documents. Okay. That, or you send out the warrants, you arrest me, and...
Difference being, if I put out warrants for you, Derek, when you get arrested, you'll be taken to our court services section and processed there and spend the day in jail.
The police opened a criminal investigation against you, and then the following day you were greeted with police at your door. Can you give us more insight?
Yeah, you know, the Wicked Witch of the West here, Gondek, she wants to come against protesters, and she wants to now be the authority and the dictator and to define what is the correct protests that we can do and what ones aren't okay. She's going to start to define what's truth and what's hate. She's taken that upon herself. She wants to enforce her street harassment bylaws against us, and then she's frustrated that this isn't enough of a consequence or a penalty. So now I heard through CTV that they're opening an investigation of a hate crime against me.
The Drag Queen Story Hour at the Seton Public Library. Protester Derek Reimer, with Exposing Darkness, told attendees that the event sexualizes children and was then physically thrown out of the room. The interaction prompted the mayor to respond. On Twitter, Jyoti Gondek says law enforcement tell her that the current street harassment bylaw is not strong enough to punish protesters at these events. She plans to uncover the reasons why and says these demonstrations are not peaceful but constitute hate speech.
Cops showed up this morning. They wanted me to go have a chat. As you can see with the video that started to go viral, that I just woke up. I didn't know what was going on. And no, I don't want to go with you guys, and do what you got to do. And now they're charging me with mischief, and they're charging me with causing a disturbance. So a warrant has been issued, and we're just waiting here at my place. We don't know when they're going to show up. Could be tonight, could be tomorrow morning. But we're going to continue doing what we do.
From my understanding, you formed a group that is called Exposing Darkness. What is the mission of this group?
Yeah, this is a patriotic, this is a political, this is a Christian organization where as Christians on the offense, it's time that we take a stand, it's time that we push back, it's time that we do something. Like David just cutting off the heads of Goliath. Like, you know, there's giants in the land, there's principalities here, and now's the time. We got to do something. These are the last days, and this perversion is sweeping over not just our city, but the globe. And I just feel like this is kind of like our last chance to really rise up and do something that's impactful, and it's a real pivotal moment of what takes place here if they're going to start to remove the Constitution, remove freedom of speech and religion, and just totally let this perverted agenda just sweep across and just engulf the entire nation and world. So that's why I just call people just to stand up, rise up, push back, peacefully protest, write your counselors, complain, just do whatever you can do. Again, now is the time. I can't stress that enough.
Mm-hmm. And you weren't violent, right? You didn't touch anybody, because it's very clear that those people who did kick you out were violent with you.
Yeah, they were extremely violent. And as you can see in the video, I said, wow, this is very abusive. And for love is love, like that's quite hateful. And they came strongly against me. But I am not a violent person. And we come as Christians, and we just come with our message of Jesus Christ. But also with that message comes rebukes, warnings, and exposing of what is sin. But again, always inviting them into the gospel of Christ to have that relationship with him.
Mm. And do you know if the police are pursuing charges against the people who pushed you into the ground?
As of now, I'm not aware of any charges against those that were violent against me.
Mm-hmm. And why do you go to these anti-drag queen protests?
I feel compelled and I feel called, along to others that are in the team of Exposing Darkness, that now we have to do something, and now we have to rise up, and we're tired of the perversion, we're tired of the grooming, we're tired of this evil and this darkness. So we just come together with a similar conviction, and we plan protests, and we just do that in the name of Jesus. I intend to continue planning these protests and attending them and making a difference here in Calgary. And you know, not just in Calgary, but hopefully that this influences and this encourages others to do the same in their city, in their towns, and that they can make a difference as well, because we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us.
Things have changed since we filmed this interview with Derek. It is the next day, Thursday, March 2nd, and we just got note that Derek Reimer has been arrested. Our reporter, Sydney Fizzard, was with him and will be providing you with his own report with more details to come, so stay tuned to Rebel News. Thank you for joining me today. Stay strong and stay free. For Rebel News, I'm Angelica Toy. The Democracy Fund is helping Derek fight his legal battles, and if you would like to help out, you can do so by making a tax-deductible donation at fightcensorshipfines.com.